Greetings to you this day. This is Michelle Strickland, and I'm coming to you today with my daily theology lesson. It's my daily meditation that I do for myself. I record it and I release it because maybe somebody else out there can get something out of it. It just so happens that I love God. I love theology. I want to become a better principled person. So that's why I like to study. But at any rate, love God. Choose God this day. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You might have things that you deal with for the rest of your life, but if you come over to God's team, turn it over to Him, He'll help you get through it. That doesn't mean you don't suffer your consequence, good or bad. None of us get away from that. But, if you come to God, He can help you get through it. And love yourself. If you love yourself, if nobody else loves you, you'll be okay. And, never give up on yourself. Never. If you lost everything you have, if you have yourself, you have everything. You can always rebuild. And you don't have to be perfect. No one is. No one is. For those of you just tuning in, I focus out of 3 major religious texts, the Bible, the Quran, and I'm in an introductory Buddhist text called The Shape of Suffering. And it deals with dependent co-arising. Without no this, there's no that. And everything we say and do has an effect on our senses. I'm going to try to rotate the text at least twice a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on how I'm led to meditate each day. But I'm back in the rotation for the Bible. I'm in Mark chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 1, and I'll let you know when I stop, okay? Now, these stories, for those of you just tuning in who haven't been keeping up or whatever, I'm reading all these texts from cover to cover. At the first of the year, I started at the Old Testament, so I'm going to read it all the way through until I get, however long that takes, okay? Same with the Quran and that Buddhist text. I got a couple more Buddhist texts, but at any rate, so that's how I'm doing it. In the days, the multitude being very great and having nothing to eat, Jesus called His disciples unto Him and said unto them, I have compassion on the multitude because they have now been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they will faint by the way, for divers of them came from far. And His disciples answered Him, from whence can a man satisfy these men with bread here in the wilderness? And He asked them, how many loaves have ye? And they said, 7. And He commanded the people to sit down on the ground, and He took the 7 loaves, and He gave thanks and brake, and gave to His disciples to set before them. And they did set them before the people. And they had a few small fishes, and He blessed and commanded to set them also before them. So they did eat, and were filled. And they took up the broken meat, and was left 7 baskets. And they that had eaten were about 4,000, and He sent them away. So this is a story, popular story about a miracle. How He turned a little bit of food into enough to feed 4,000 people, the multitude of people that were at that particular event wherever He was at. And straightway He entered into a ship with His disciples and came into the parts of, now, if I'm not saying this name correctly, please forgive me, Dalmanutha. Sorry. And the Pharisees came forth and began to question with Him, seeking of Him a sign from heaven, tempting Him. And He sighed deeply in His spirit and said, Why doth this generation seek after a sign? Verily I say unto you, there shall no sign be given unto this generation. And He left them, and entering into the ship again, departed to the other side. Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the ship with them more than 1 loaf. And He charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, of the leaven of Herod. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread. And when Jesus knew it, He said unto them, Why reason ye because ye have no bread? Perceive ye not yet, neither understand? Have ye your heart yet hardened? Having eyes, see ye not, and having ears, hear ye not, and do ye not remember? When I break the 5 loaves among 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? So they said earlier they said 4,000, but then now when Christ is talking about, he said 5,000. They said unto him 12. Let me read that again. When I break the 5 loaves among 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? They said unto him 12. And when the 7 among 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? And they said 7. And he said unto them, how is it that ye do not understand? I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. That's verse 21. I'm ending it on 21. I'll pick it back up later in the week.